You assume that when facts contradict your beliefs, your mind updates accordingly, like a rational system refining itself in response to better data. But the brain does not prioritize truth. It prioritizes stability. From a biological perspective, your brain is a prediction engine designed to keep your internal world coherent, energy efficient, and minimally disrupted, because unpredictability is metabolically expensive and psychologically destabilizing. A stable model of reality costs less energy than a constantly shifting one, even if that stable model is imperfect. And identity is one of the most stable models your brain maintains. Identity is not a surface-level belief or a personality label you casually adopt. It is a deeply reinforced network of predictions about who you are, what typically happens to you, how others respond to you, and what outcomes feel probable within your life. When new information aligns with that model, integration is effortless. When it contradicts it, friction emerges. That friction is not simply intellectual discomfort. It is cognitive dissonance. And dissonance is not abstract. When the brain detects contradiction between identity and evidence, the anterior cingulate cortex activates, signaling conflict, while the nervous system shifts toward alertness because instability, especially self-instability, can signal risk. In that moment, the brain is not asking, "Is this true?" It is asking, "Does this fit who I am?" If the answer is no, two pathways open. Either the identity must update, or the evidence must be reinterpreted. Updating identity requires uncertainty. Uncertainty increases arousal. Arousal demands regulation. Reinterpreting evidence is neurologically cheaper. So more often than not, reinterpretation wins. If you believe you are competent and receive criticism, you can revise your self-model, or you can conclude the feedback was flawed, biased, or irrelevant. Most people do not choose the second option out of arrogance. They choose it because the brain is built to preserve continuity. This mechanism extends far beyond professional feedback. If your identity carries the expectation of abandonment, reassurance rarely feels permanent, but small signals of distance feel significant and predictive. If your identity assumes you are unlucky, successes are dismissed as anomalies, while setbacks are treated as confirmation. The brain does not weigh evidence neutrally. It weighs evidence according to identity relevance. This is not simple confirmation bias. It is predictive regulation. In predictive coding frameworks, prior beliefs carry different weights, and identity functions as a high-weight prior, meaning contradictory evidence must be strong, repeated, and emotionally salient to override it. That is why real change feels destabilizing, even when it is positive. When your life expands beyond your internal model, dissonance increases. Instead of fully integrating the improvement, the brain may minimize it. It's just luck. This won't last. This isn't really who I am. That language sounds modest. But neurologically, it is stabilization. The same mechanism explains why arguments rarely transform deeply held beliefs. When a belief is entangled with identity, challenging it is not perceived as an intellectual disagreement. It is perceived as a threat to self-coherence, and the nervous system responds accordingly. Identity is not confined to conscious thought. It is encoded in patterns of prediction, emotional memory, and embodied expectation reinforced over years of repetition. Changing it requires sustained exposure to evidence that contradicts the old model without triggering overwhelming threat. That is metabolically demanding. Which is why people often retreat precisely when growth begins to destabilize their previous narrative. The discomfort you feel in those moments is not failure. It is model updating in progress. Dissonance is the psychological tension between who you have been and who emerging evidence suggests you could become. Most people reduce that tension by shrinking possibility until it fits the old model. Fewer tolerate the instability long enough for identity to expand. The first path feels safe. The second path reshapes perception, behavior, and long-term trajectory. The brain does not resist truth because it prefers ignorance. It resists instability because instability once signaled danger. And sometimes feeling certain protects the nervous system more effectively than being correct. Once you understand this, resistance stops looking like weakness. It begins to look like protection. And protection, when understood, can be gradually renegotiated. If this perspective shifted how you interpret your own hesitation in the face of new evidence, pause for a moment and notice that internal recognition. And if you value this kind of mechanism-level exploration of identity, cognition, and behavior, subscribe to the channel and share this with someone who believes they are simply being realistic. Because sometimes realism is not clarity. Is identity preserving itself against uncertainty? And recognizing that is where deliberate change actually begins.